Well, if you have a criminal record, several Huntsville groups want to let you know that you may still be eligible to vote in November. Our Kenesha Dees spoke with these groups today, and she has more.
I'm here at the State Probation and Parole Day Reporting Center, where Vote Gone Viral, the League of Women Voters of the Tennessee Valley, and the Alabama Nonviolent Offenders have teamed up to help returning citizens know their voter status and eligibility.
Let it be known, I'm one of the people that didn't think they could vote.
And my daughter, she registered to vote. I've been trying to get on her the last 2 years to do it.
These folks join more than a dozen people finding out that they or their loved ones can mark their ballots November 3rd. WZDX News caught up with Alabama Secretary of State John Merrill earlier today. He explains the process of voter restoration after crimes of moral turpitude were defined in 2017.
Once they paid all their fees and all their fines associated with their original sentence, and they've served all their time associated with their original sentence, they're able to automatically have their voting rights restored.
However, not many returning citizens know this.
And our thing here is education, especially with this upcoming election.
Many people also don't know they still have the right to vote even if they were convicted of a crime.
The fact that people, they don't have the latitude to determine things that are not on the moral turpitude list. They need to follow the law, and that's what we're helping with.
And with the voter registration deadline on October 19th, organizers say stopping here is a way to inform people on rights they may not know they have.
So we think it's great to have an opportunity to come to the Day Reporting Center on the reporting days when we know that hundreds of people will show up to be able to share that information.
The groups will be here tomorrow and Thursday from 8 to 4 p.m. Putting the Valley first, Kenesha Dees, WZDX News.